Hello everyone. Through this video, we'll discuss two most important keywords in Java, that is a throw and throws, and its usage in exception handling. So till now, whatever the video you have seen, you have experienced how the exception is generated from the try block, and you are not throwing the exception. JVM is throwing the exception automatically. Now, if the user wants to throw the exception manually, how to do that? It's only by using the keyword throw. Okay, so let us see the example how the throw keyword can be used. Use of throw keyword in Java. J for Java. Okay, so we have seen this example while studying exception handling, that I am taking the input for two different numbers. I am finding the division, and I'm expecting maybe arithmetic exception will be generated if I'll provide the denominator as 0. Okay, the same program I'll rewrite by using throw keyword, where the exception will be thrown by the user manually. Okay, so let us copy the same code. Okay, so here I am taking the input for both the numbers, and I am providing the condition if number 2 equal to 0. Okay, so I'm providing the condition here that after entering to the both the numbers, I'm checking about the second number or the denominator, that if it is equal to 0, then I'm throwing the exception. So here I have to use the keyword throw. And what I am actually throwing, you have also experienced in the previous video, while JVM is also throwing the exception, one object of the exception is thrown automatically. How will know? Because I am catching with another object of the same time in the catch block. So if I'll throw manually, then also I'll throw the exception or the object of that particular exception. Okay. Else I am performing the division operation and displaying the result. Okay. So very simple. I am entering two values. I am checking, giving the condition for the second number or the denominator. If the denominator is equal to 0, then I am throwing the exception manually. Okay. Exception is thrown manually by the user. Okay. So object I am throwing, and same thing I am catching with another object of arithmetic exception class. Okay, so we are discussing about the example of arithmetic exception. So you have to throw the exception object of arithmetic exception, as well as you have to catch with another object of arithmetic exception. Similarly, if you throw the object of null pointer exception class, you have to catch with null pointer exception class object. Okay, so let us save the program. Open the command prompt. Let's compile it. Oh, I'm creating the object. So throw new arithmetic exception. Okay. Now object is created. Let's run the file. First, I am entering two values where exception will not be generated. So obviously result is 5, and rest of the program will lines of code will be executed. Okay. But let us execute once again where exception will be generated. I am entering the denominator value as 0. So the if condition will be true, where the object of arithmetic exception class will be generated, which will be thrown by the user manually, And the principle is same. Inside the try block, the user is throwing the exception. So automatically the control will come to the catch block where I am catching with another arithmetic exception class object. So cannot divide by 0 will be executed. Then the details of the message or the exception will be printed. Then due to normal termination, the rest of the code will also be executed. Okay. So by using try catch block, already you have discussed that the abnormal termination of the program can be avoided. But here, through this video, you are learning how to use the throw keyword. Okay, so that the exception can be generated or can be thrown manually. Okay. So if I want to see the use of throw keyword, let us modify the same program where I'll use a method. Okay. So one static method I am writing, static void sum. I'm not doing anything here. Okay. Done. So I'm taking the input for both the numbers. I'm calling the sum method where two values, number one, number two, I'm passing to the method. Okay. Now here I'll catch both the numbers. Done. I'll declare the res variable and I'm writing res number one divided by number two. Okay. See, exception is generated inside sum method. Okay. But try catch is present here inside main method. Inside the try, I am calling the method sum. Okay. Now the control will come from sum to here. Execution will be done here. Okay. If I have passed number to as 0, obviously exception will be generated. Exception will be generated inside sum method. But sum method is not handling that. Who is handling? Now the try block is handling because sum method is called inside the try block. Okay. And instantly the corresponding catch block will handle that. This is known as your propagation of exception. Okay. Once again, we are entering two values, number one, number two. I am calling the sum method as it is static, so I have not used any object, directly I have called. Okay. If I want, I can use the class name. So I am calling the sum method by passing two values. Here I am finding the division. If I have entered number 2 as 0, obviously exception will be generated inside sum method. The sum method is not handling that because try catch block is not available inside the sum method. Who will handle? Now who has called? The main method has called. So inside main method, we have written try catch block. Inside try block, I have called the sum method. Now try block will pass the exception to the catch block and corresponding catch block will handle the exception. Okay. This is what known as your propagation of exception. Okay. So suppose here I am writing throw one. Test exception throw one dot sum method. Okay. Let us check. Compile it. Now see, I am entering 0 for the second value. Check, exception is handled. How it is being handled? It's only because try catch block is available inside the main method and From the try block, I have called the sum method. Okay, so this is known as your propagation of exception. Okay, or the use of throw keyword. So if you use throw keyword here, then I can write here if number 2 equal to 0, throw new arithmetic exception. Okay, so object is created and it is being thrown. Done. So whenever exception is generated, none of the rest of the block will be executed. So let's leave this one. Compiled, executed. So whenever the number 2 I have entered 0, manually I have thrown the exception and I have printed the value. Okay. Suppose I want to pass any message. User is throwing the exception. Okay, so I am passing one message inside the during the object creation. Okay, so let's see what will happen. Compiled, execution. See, cannot divide by 0 because the message is here, cannot divide by 0. Then OB, who is catching what? OB is catching. OB is catching this message. Okay, and instantly arithmetic exception. See, previously it was coming divide by 0, the default message. Now the message is being displayed what the user is passing. User is throwing the exception. Okay, so during throwing the exception manually, the user can pass the message also if the user wants. Otherwise, the default message will be printed. Yeah. So let's see one more example of this propagation. So in this example, let us execute from main method. Okay, so I am creating the object of this particular class. Okay, where the class is this one. I am calling the fun3 method. So I am calling fun3. Now control is coming here. Inside that, try and catch block is available. It is handling the generic exception. Okay, now inside try block of fun3, I am calling the fun2 method. Okay, so this is like a stack. First main method, then main method is calling fun3 method, fun3 method is calling fun2 method, fun2 method is calling fun1 method, and fun1 method is available here. Okay, here I am writing 25 by 0 means exception will be generated, but fun1 is not going to handle the exception. Okay, what will happen? So during the calling, it has gone in this way. Next, the reverse order it will return means it will return to fun2 method. Fun2 method is not handling. Fun2 will pass to fun3 because fun3 will handle this one as try and catch block is available inside fun3 method. Okay, so finally fun3 method will handle the exception and then control will return from where it has been called to the main method. Okay, and after that program over message will come, then you are going out of the main method. Okay, so this is what known as your propagation of exception. In which order it has been called, the reverse order it will come to handle the exception. Okay, so let us save the file. Java C, done. Okay, so I finally exception is handled and program over message is coming. Exception is generated, clear, but Finally, it is being called in the reverse order. Wherever the try catch block is there, it will handle the exception. Okay, done. So let's see something about the throw keyword. So whatever you have discussed, that used to explicitly throw an exception that you have seen through the example. Okay, able to throw either checked or unchecked exception. Whatever you want, you can throw that one. Clear? It mainly used to throw user-defined exception. Clear? And the syntax is throw exception. Whatever things you want to throw, here you have to write down like this. Okay, you have to create the object of the corresponding exception class, and then you can throw. Okay, so let us modify the same example. Means from fun one, I am using throw new arithmetic exception. Okay, or let's change the name, null pointer exception. Okay, propagation 1 1 1. Okay. Clear? Okay, so exception is being handled. Clear? Done. So this is what the use of throw keyword. Clear? Now if I write here IO exception. Clear? Now what will happen? Here I am handling generic exception. Clear? Let's see. Cannot find similar. Okay. So IO exception is a predefined exception which is available in import java.io.star input output. Okay. So unreported exception, IO exception. So that means it must be caught or declared to be thrown. That means throw new IO exception cannot be done. Okay. Now for to handle IO exception or your unchecked exceptions, clear? This kind of exception, if you want to throw, you cannot use throw keyword here. Okay. For that, you have to go for another keyword, that is your throws. Clear? So throws keyword is normally used to declare an exception. Checked exception can be propagated. So all the checked exceptions can be propagated by using throws keyword. Okay. By using throw keyword, you can propagate unchecked exceptions, but the checked exceptions can be done by using throws keyword. How? Throws IO exception. Okay. So now here I am creating the or generating the exception of IO exception. Okay, but I cannot propagate that to the previous method where it has been called. Okay, so before you need to understand what is the use of throws in propagation, let me give you a simple example. Suppose I have given you some assignment. Clear? I have given you assignment and it needs to be submitted to the director. Okay, suppose you will complete the assignment, then there will be no problem. We can submit the assignment to the director. Suppose you don't want to complete the assignment. What you will do? You will tell me so that I am also busy with my work. I cannot complete the assignment. Okay. So whenever you don't want to complete the assignment, you will send or you will propagate to me that I have to complete the assignment. Clear? So here, while defining your body, you will write down throws assignment. Means maybe I will be told to submit the assignment, but I don't want to complete it. I don't want to submit it. I have written throws means anyone who has given me to complete the assignment, he is responsible to complete the assignment. Clear? Suppose that assignment has been given by HOD or head of the department to me. I also don't want to complete the assignment. While defining my body, I'll write throws assignment. That means I am not going to complete the assignment. Who will complete? Anybody who has given to me. Clear? So finally, HOD will complete all the assignment, and on behalf of you, on behalf of me, he will submit the assignment to the director. Okay? So that means whenever exception will be thrown from anybody, so from Fund1, exception is thrown. But Fund1 doesn't want to handle the exception. It will write throws the kind of exception. Okay, that means Fund1 is telling this kind of exception may be generated in my body, but I don't want to handle it. Okay, so I'll just propagate to the previous method. Now similarly, Fund2 doesn't want to handle the exception. Okay, so what Fund2 will do, it will also write throws IO exception. Okay, so finally the control will move to whom? So as per our discussion, once I am writing throws means it will be propagated to the Fund3. So inside Fund3, try block is there, catch block is there, will handle the exception. Clear? And once exception is handled, finally you are getting the output. Okay, so this is what the overview or the details of throws keyword. So let's see. Done. So now the checked exceptions can be propagated by using the throws keyword. Clear? So any method which doesn't want to handle the exception will use throws keyword so that it will be propagated to the parent method who has called it. Okay. Similarly, it will be propagated to the previous one. Done. Okay. Suppose Fund3 doesn't want to handle the exception. What it will write? It will also write throws IO exception. Okay. And what about this one? Okay. Now here, then now the main method is responsible to handle the exception. Clear? Let's check. Understood? So someone will handle the exception. If main method doesn't want to handle the exception, it can also write throws IO exception. Who will handle? Who has called the main method? JVM. So JVM will handle the exception. Clear? This is what the meaning of throws keyword. So it provides information to the caller of the method about the exception. That means it is propagated to the parent method. Okay, and syntax is the return type, method name we have seen, then throws the exception class name. Okay, so one more concept is also here in exception handling. If you want, you can rethrow the exception. Clear? So what is the meaning of rethrowing of exception? Whenever we will catch the exception, okay, inside the throw try block, we are throwing the exception. Once you throw the exception, the catch block will handle. Inside the class, sorry, catch block, you are just writing again. You are taking the help of throw keyword and you are throwing the same exception again. Okay, so someone should be there who will handle the exception. Okay, So this idea is known as your rethrowing of exception. First it has been thrown, then rethrown. Okay. So how it will be done? Let's see through one example. Okay. So let's class test rethrow. Okay. Inside that one method is there. Suppose void method one. Okay. So I'm writing try, then string str equal to 3. Okay. Then character ch equal to str dot caret 1 2 3 4 5. So suppose sixth I am writing. Okay. So sixth index is not here. Done. So obviously one exception will be generated. String, sorry, string index out of bound exceptions. Okay. First catch block, and I'm writing throw what I am catching ob. So here rethrowing of exception. Clear? So I'm just rethrowing the same exception here from the method body. Okay. Let us, I'm writing class demo rethrow, where I'm putting the main method. Okay. So for I'll call the method one. So test rethrow class object I am creating. Done. And inside one more try block, I am calling method one. As I know that I'll call the method one. Here one exception will be generated which is of string index out of bounds exception. I'll handle that one. But as I am rethrowing it, so again it will come to here where it has been called. So I have to also catch string index out of bounds exception. Okay. Let's save the file and execute. Okay. So first catch block, then I'm throwing again second catch block. Okay, because of rethrow. then it is showing you the message string index out of range because of 6, and finally termination of the program normally by printing program over. Okay, so this is what the idea of rethrow. I am calling the method, I know that, or maybe exception will be generated. Whatever the exception I am catching, I am again throwing that one from the catch block. So what will happen? From inside another catch block, I have to handle the exception. Okay, so this is known as your rethrowing of an exception in Java. Okay, so finally let's go through the difference between throw and throws keyword in Java. Okay, so this is the overview. It is used to explicitly throw an exception, but regarding throws, it is used to declare an exception. Okay, this is checked exception cannot be propagated. Checked exception can be propagated. We have seen through the example of IO exception. Okay, it is followed by an object. It is followed by class. Done. Because you're writing throw new some object name. Here throw the class name. Okay, it is used within the method. It is used within the method prototype. While declaring the method, you are writing throws something. Okay, user cannot throw multiple exceptions at a time. Multiple exception cannot be thrown, but throws can be used for multiple. You can write down like this, separated by comma. Okay, so this is what the overview of throw and throws keyword in Java. You will get a lot of experience and its usage through different examples through the video. Okay, so thank you everyone for watching this.